Hey there, and thank you for joining me on the Retro Game Couch. In my quest to find an SD card solution for the best Game Boy in the world, I came across the EverDrive, and you probably heard about the EverDrive. They're well known and they're the most recommended, but they are also $100 per unit, and that's quite a steep price point for some people. So I went online, I went on eBay, and I found the Supercard SD, which also says it can play ROMs off an SD card and is only $12. Now this thing has some quirks, but I fixed all of them and I got it working. So in this video I want to show you how you can get the Super SD card to work, and I want to show you, is it worth the $12? So let's go. Before I started recording this video, I downloaded the ROMs of Lego Island 2, Metroid Fusion and Zelda the Minish Cap, which we're gonna test with the Supercard SD. Now, what most people will probably try to do is use a high capacity SD card like this 16GB card, put it in their computer, copy some ROMs. It doesn't support zip files. Copy some ROMs on there. And then pop it into the Supercards, put it in, and you see a very short flash, and that is actually the menu of the Supercard SD, but it doesn't work. This was the first thing that happened to me as well. It didn't work, and then I started reading, and I found out that the Supercard SD doesn't support high capacity SD cards. It only supports the non-high capacity cards and up to 2GB in size. And let me show you that that does work by copying the ROMs over. There we go. Now, let's put it back into the Supercard SD. Turn it on. And now the menu should boot up because it can recognize this card. And as you can see, that works. However, none of the games will work, which was another one of my frustrations. So let's start Lego Island 2. And it does read the ROM. But when it's finished, it will turn to this white screen, and it will do this for every ROM. Now, it took me a while to figure out why it does this, but the Supercard SD actually should have come with a tool, a program, a piece of software. And I will link that piece of software in the description below, and that piece of software will convert ROMs to a format that can be read by the Supercard SD. Switching back to the computer, here is the Supercard software, and we can add games. It does support zip files, so we can actually select this one, and this one, the 3 games we have in our temp folder, and add it to the list. It does say that the Minish Cap failed to patch. I'm not really sure. Now in options, make sure you set output path to the path of your SD card, which is G in my case. So let's go back to the game list, and now when I press out, it will convert these 3 games to my SD card. There we go. And there they are. So now for every game there are 3 files, and when we take the SD card and put it into the Supercard SD, and we pick Lego Island again, you see that it now actually works. I noticed that the Zelda game said that it failed patching, so let's test if that does work. Yeah, that does work, so I'm not really sure why it gave that error, but yeah, that boots fine, so Zelda also works just fine. So besides loading ROMs, the Supercard SD also supports save states. So at any point in any game can you press both shoulder buttons B and select. And then we can save the current state of the game. And then after you restart the game or at any point that you want to go back to that save state, you press the same combination, shoulder buttons B select, you choose load, and you go back to that save state. So that's pretty neat. It also supports normal saves. I'm not really sure what that means, but both shoulder buttons A and select brings up this menu and lets you do a normal save. And what you can also do is bring back the menu to choose another ROM by pressing both shoulder buttons and then start and select. Updating the firmware of the Supercard SD is super easy. Link for the firmware is in the description below. The latest version is 1.85, so we take our micro SD card, put it in our computer. Here is the zip file with the latest firmware. It has a folder called SD, and that file needs to be copied to the root of your SD cards, like so. That's it. I'm gonna keep the games on there, that's absolutely fine. So we put the SD cards into the Supercard SD. And we turn it on. And then the firmware should appear as one of the games. So it's there. Press A. And as you can see, it detected that the old version is 1.85 already. The new version is 1.85. And it still gives me the option to upgrade, which I'm not gonna do. But yeah, that's how you upgrade the firmware on the Supercard SD. Super easy. So, do I recommend you getting a Supercard SD? Well, if you can live with its limitations, that it only supports the non-high capacity SD cards and only supports SD cards up to 2 GB in size, and that you have to convert all the ROMs with a special tool before putting them on your SD card. It only supports Game Boy Advance ROMs, I haven't mentioned that before. If you can live with these limitations, then this is absolutely the cheapest SD card solution you can get for your Game Boy Advance. It's only $12, so yeah, it's a non-brainer.
No-brainer.
So for now, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time on the Retro Game Couch.